afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world. Welcome to the Transnation eSports for yet another race here of the Assist Division Season 6.5, Round 8 out of 10 at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, the Mexican City Grand Prix. I'm joined in commentary, as always, by Michael Garone Jr., and we've both been chatting about this track off air. It's not the most popular circuit on the calendar. It's also corner cutting central, disqualification central. Do you think we'll see a few disqualifications today?
I'd hope if the drivers get close enough to there, they'll start behaving a little bit, but it's entirely possible. I've seen penalty numbers in the 20s around here. Turns 1, 2, and 3 so easy to pick up warnings. The S section in the middle sector, and even, the whole track really. Most of the corners on the track are places where it's easy to pick up warnings if you're not completely focused throughout the race. But yeah, despite that, I think you'll have to. This is going to be a track where strategy will be a little different. Tire wear is going to come into play quite a bit compared to some other races we've seen this season. Possible 2 stops for some of these guys. You might have some guys trying to play it conservative and stretch the 1 stop, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see exactly which strategy pays off the best, and yeah, who could do the best job over 36 laps.
Yeah, it's certainly one of those longer tracks in terms of lap duration. 15 drivers are now in and ready to go, so we'll just give them the notification to get a... just tell them to ready up. So, yeah, so in terms of the championship, actually, so what I'll do is I'll run through the drivers and then Michael will run us through the constructors. So we're going to go to the championship persuasive now, and as out of Japan, Theodore Drageshi could walk away today as the champion if he can score 86 points clear of Jake Anthony heading into today's race. So he has got a 69-point lead over Jake Anthony currently, with Bo Wigshirt in P3. Amar Singh P4, only 2 points behind Bo, but in the weirdest of circumstances, Bo and Amar aren't attending today's race. So I think irrespective, I know I didn't, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'll send them both invites just on the off chance that they may pull an upset and one of them might turn up. But for championship perspective, that's a huge blow for the both of them, and that will pretty much rule them out of championship contention heading into Brazil. Liam Towey's in P4, only 2 points behind Amar as well, so... No, sorry, 4 points behind Amar. So Liam Towey's having a real good season at the moment with Racing Point. Then Vagelis behind in P6. Daniel Budwell, Matty Smith, Lee Beetle, even though it's technically Beatty. That still hasn't been changed actually from Season 6. Cameron Adams has had a pretty good season so far, currently in P10. Julia Monegro, of course Alex Boniface and Dan Ware are still in this pitch and they're not. So Jonathan Dunk would move up to position 11, position 12, sorry. Joe Brindley would go up to Peggy 13. Jerome Nicholas P14. Max Tansley P14. Jerome Nicholas P15. And then Oliver Coleman, who isn't in the championship anymore, is in the situation now. We also like to, so Michael, run us through the constructors, and then after that, introduce our new driver to the fold.
So heading the way in the constructors, we have Red Bull. That's based off the fact of Theodore doing such a good job every week, kind of putting that team on his back. Also, Matty's been a solid second driver to him, always picking up the points, making sure he gets to the line. Racing Point in P2, obviously we saw the combo of Creedon and Budwell. We've seen Creedon since leave, and Liam took that seat. So, solid 3 drivers picking up points every week. Then McLaren is in P3. P4 is Williams. Obviously, Jake's kind of put that whole team on his back with his his teammate leaving and going no assist. P5 we have Ferrari. P6 we have Alfa Romeo. P7 we have Alfa Tauri. P8 we have Haas. So from 5th to 8th is really close. Any one of those 4 teams can take that P5 spot, and then towards the back we have Renault P9 and Mercedes P10. Those have kind of been the cars that has been either drivers not showing up, drivers not finishing, or a revolving door of different driver lineups. So yeah, you want me to tell them about the new driver?
Yep.
All right, so we got another addition to Tier 1 Assist. He's a T&E Regional, U.S. Regional driver. It is Michael Schoonert, better known as CRL Iceman. So somebody I've raced quite a bit in regionals. Quick driver, very clean driver. I'm excited to see what he could do. Obviously, he's usually teammates to the other CRL guy you'll notice on the leaderboard, J-Dunk. I'm sure next season they'll be vying to be teammates. But yeah, Iceman's no slouch. I'm happy to see him make his way into nationals. I know he'll enjoy it here, and I look forward to seeing good things from him.
I actually kind of noticed that his Iceman name, I'm sure this has probably been noticed by everyone else, apart from me, who's only just clicked. His Iceman doesn't actually have an A in it, so I wonder if that's just to do with PSN length, and instead of taking out a number, he took out a letter.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a friend that they messed up their gamer tag and spelt what they wanted to spell wrong, and they never bothered changing it, so he could have just forgot the A while he was typing it out and then never bothered switching it. But yeah, makes it, it's him when you see that name. There's no A there.
So according to Liam, Bone Dry Race, good morning to Clush. So there was a bit of an ongoing discussion about how you pronounce Clush's name in sorry, just reading a message from my partner who's making me do chores. So his Twitch TV Clush is his pronunciation. For those who want to know, not primarily that important, but so we're watching. I think Jake Anthony was our first driver out, and he'll be the first driver to set a flying lap. It'll be very easy to invalidate on this circuit, so it's all about trying to kind of maintain your pace, but at the same time keeping the car within the track limits. We had a couple of races yesterday off air. Well, I was recording my perspective, and we're having a classic car race, a 15.5 on the soft tyre. If I wouldn't say any better, I'd say that was probably just a banker, because I would imagine you'd be looking somewhere maybe in the 13s if you're someone like Theodore.
Yeah, 13s, 14s is what all of these guys are going to be aiming at. Interesting to see we got a few guys on mediums. So,
well, that's the other thing. I suppose it's the compounding strategy choice. I mean, his Iceman Michael Schoonert does a 14.9, so that's probably a little bit more representative. Here comes, Theodore, he just invalidates on that little kink between the final turn. Not too hard to do either, so he'll have to wait for that one. Daniel Budwell does only a 15.4, so maybe, what does Vigilus do there? A 14.6. So the numbers are tumbling, but not as rapidly. I mean, obviously if Piers Langford was here, we would have seen a 13 almost right from the word go.
Yeah, Andrew Lee told us that he got into the 12s the other night in Grand Prix mode, so
yeah, so
I don't even want to think about that.
No, I was going to say if that's what you're coming to expect, then I'm probably feeling a little happy we're in my tier. But Jerome Nicholas lagging so horribly. I just can't really work out why his internet is so bad to the point where he's just jitters all over the show. We saw in the Japanese race some really nasty looking kind of accidents that came from him. In fact, it was actually quite funny because I was watching, obviously commentating with the guys in the US regional on Monday, and Daniel Hernandez, who was leading the race, it was before I got disconnected, obviously, which I think it was a sign for me knowing that I was about to. It looked like Daniel Hernandez had driven just straight off at turn 4, like driven straight ahead at turn 4, and then got launched into the air by a car from behind. So Jerome crosses the line, does it 15.2.
I believe that's quite a competitive lap. I know the mediums are quite a bit slower than the... I think 1.1 seconds is the number, comparing fresh sets, so... Yeah, you think, considering that 1.1 seconds, he's looking at a very low 14 on the soft if he chooses to do a lap on those, so...
So currently at the moment heading away of a Ferrari 1-2 with J-Dunk currently now in second with a 14.9. 5/100th clear of Schooner, so they may not be teammates, but they're certainly keeping within each other's honesty box. And of course we've also, well actually I suppose we forgot to mention that Sebastian Flores is making yet another cameo in today's race, this time in the McLaren, as we don't actually have any cars. He's currently P8 with a 15.8.
Yeah, it's a solid banker lap from him. I was on board for a couple corners of that lap, and it looked like he was taking it fairly conservative just to kind of get a lap on the board. So he's coming along nicely with his training regimen, I guess you could say. He's learning quite a bit.
So we got Lee Beattie on the mediums with a 17.0. Theodore's still yet to do a lap, but we'll go on board with him and have a look at his telemetry and see how he approaches it. So he comes to this massively long straight, 330 kilometers an hour, into turn 1, hard on the brakes, 4th gear, filters 3rd, holds it in 3rd through the 2 S's, and then absolutely plants it. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the only assist that Theodore uses is automatic gears. But looking at that definitely doesn't look automatic. So going through,
most of the quick assist guys are just ABS, and I think I saw somewhere that he was auto gears, or maybe he's just medium traction.
yeah.
Something along those lines, but he doesn't use ABS because we did see him just lock up in the middle of this lap.
Second sector didn't look too flash according to the telemetry. So a little bit conservative. I couldn't tell if he was fast into sector 1. I was trying to pay attention to the gear ratio. So coming around the last corner, 13.9.
So that's the benchmark.
Which isn't too bad when you look at it, but we'll see who would be the next driver to be on a lap. So Julian Monegro was on one, he's invalidated. Cameron Adam has invalidated.
Tansley.
Max Tansley, 16.5, but I think his previous lap was... Well, let's have a look at the differences and contrasts to laps. So he goes into a corner... So Tansley filters into second, going into the chicanes, and then tries to short shift his way through, which might not necessarily be the greatest approach. And then into here, you'd probably want to be about, well, 3rd gear there, and then 2nd gear here, and then up into the what I call the hairpin. Yeah, 2nd gear, maybe 3rd if you could get the nose in. Now here about 5th. Oh, it took a bit of a time to get to 5th gear there. Oh no, this is laggy.
Validated as well.
I wonder if Max and Jerome live in the same property. So okay, so let's try and figure out who. So Sebastian Flores is on another flyer. He's got to beat a 15.860. Which, at the moment, he's currently 3/10 off the next driver in Julian Monegro, but he does have a comfortable... Who's just jumped up the order?
Yeah, it was Lee Beattie.
And Joe Brindley's just jumped up to P3 on a 14.8.
Solid lap from him.
So Joe showing that he doesn't want to give his new teammates any reason to think he's underperforming. And Jerome is also going to be on a flyer too, so where are we at with Sebi? So Sebi's coming through the stadium section now. Around the last corner. Got to be careful there because that corner can unsettle you. Around the corner on the line, and a 15.2 improvement puts him up P2, or P8, sorry. 2 spots.
A lot of that time was in the final sector as well, so he hooked that up a lot better than his previous lap. Schoonert's on a lap as well.
It's such a hard sector 2, to be able to get that car flowing in. I think that may have been, actually, not going to lie, a bit of a low-key toe there from Joe Brindley.
Yeah, I did notice that.
I wouldn't say it was, I don't think it was intentional, but at the same time I wouldn't say that it was planned. So around the last corner, 14.5 puts him P2. He's showing his hand quite nicely.
14.3.
So Daniel Budwell also went up to P6. Jerome 14.1. So this time just can't quite get that number he needs to put Theodore out, and I'm sure Theodore will probably be looking at that time going, oh, do I go back out? I mean, that's 0.2 of a second, not too hard to find when you've got the pace to commit to it. Matty Smith.
Theodore's got to go back out.
Yeah, Matty Smith's having a bit of a disappointing run at the moment.
A little bit off from what we've seen. We usually see him qualify, back half of the top 10?
Yeah, there or thereabouts. I think his season best is a P5. Currently 14th on 16.3, 0.3 of a second behind Cameron Adam, who then also has to find 5/10 to get Julia Menegro, who will be looking to try and find at least a whopping 1.2 seconds to get up to where his teammate is, who is on an actual flying lap. I think Menegro is the only one.
Jake's starting one as well.
Now,
Jake's got to do something here.
Yeah, Jake's got Arsenal.
He's sitting in P11.
What is the ideal strategy to start on?
I mean, if you start on the soft, then you have a few options from there. You could go soft, hard, and then, like I said, some guys might opt for the 2-stop, which is a soft, medium. I think this week we'll see everybody outside the top 10 start on the medium and go to the hard, or try to stretch. See, when you go to the medium, it kind of puts you in a box because you can't really stretch to a soft set to the end. It's not like you could go medium soft, so it forces you to use the 2 slowest tires. So maybe we'll see some guys start on the hard and then go on to the soft at the end. But yeah, the high tire wear here and the amount of laps creates some differences in strategy. But I'd say the likes of Theodore and Jerome, Vagelis, they'll probably just do the 2-stop because they're quick enough to overcome that second pit stop as Jake moves up to P6.
So, interestingly, I just noticed that Matty's time of the 16.3 has only been set on the mediums. So he does obviously have some pace to burn, but he's obviously done...
very end.
He's made that mistake that I think a lot of drivers do on a track like this, is where you go and you punch out a time on the mediums and then you just invalidate every single soft run. I know, I've had that happen to me time and time again, and it's so frustrating when you put in a lap, it's not a good lap, and then it's like you just can't pull out a soft run to save your life.
Yeah, I've been there before. You know how it goes with me in qualifying.
Well, you and I are both not the greatest qualifiers. That's our race pace probably determines more towards our showing of performances than our qualifying pace, but I've always kind of looked at that, you know, pole position's great to have, but it doesn't always guarantee you the race win. So you don't necessarily, well, I mean, unless you're like Andrew Lee or someone like that in a division where you can just run away with it. But will be interesting to see what happens proceeding. So drivers that have come out now, obviously because we're streaming, the timing is out, I think, by about 30 seconds. I think that's what we managed to deduce it as. If anyone's in the YouTube watching the stream in the tier 1 room, could you just give us an indication of actually how much time is left on the clock? I'm going to tell you now, on our clock right now, it's 1 minute 25. So if we get a reply from that, we'll be able to find out how long it is between the session. And I asked that question at 1 minute 25, so Iceman, Vagilis, Sioi, or everyone.
Half a second up for the first 2 sectors.
Well, actually, everyone's coming out, so it must be that critical window to get out and get in before the lap ends. And Michael goes to
Iceman
goes to the top of 13.92. Not bad of a lap there by Michael Schooner. So that's 7/100ths of a second faster than Theodore. But of course, Theodore's 13.9 was a banker lap, so there's only room for improvement. So I'm thinking maybe about a 13.5. Just on a guess. Who else is about to complete a lap here? Vagilis
comes with the final sector. He was about 2/10 up.
So that's going to be about 14.1. Maybe a 13.9 if he can nail the last corner. Cross the line, 13.96, which puts him third.
As well.
Now who's next? So Joe Brindley's just starting a lap. It must be someone. There goes Liam. Liam goes P7 with a 14.8. And Max Tansley's out. He can't complete another lap. Matty Smith's on a flying lap.
Julian's coming through the stadium now.
He's 6/10ths up from the belief, so that'll be somewhere on the 14th if he can nail the last corner. 14.7, which puts him to P5, so just behind his teammate. Where is his teammate coming around the last corner? Jerome crosses the line, goes to the top with a 13.8. Theodore around the last corner, 13.7.
7.
So 2/10ths well off, so I don't think, well, unless Joe Brindley or Jonathan Dunk. Jonathan Dunk's coming around the last corner. So easy to get this corner. In fact, just as I say, literally as I say that, it's such an easy corner to get wrong. He needs to really get out of that way, even if it means, because there's Brindley.
Oh, Matty Smith almost got.
And Matty Smith goes to 7th. So good comeback there.
A bit of a scary moment for him.
Daniel Budwell's invalidated, so his session's over. And Tansley is P15 with no time set. So a very good qualifying right at the end there. Everyone pulling out those last legs. Jerome got the better of Theodore in Japan, but today Theodore bounces back for another pole position. I think that's about his 5th career pole in Tier 1 presently.
And really close between our top 4. I mean, specifically our top 2, but
yeah,
especially the top. What is that? Less than.
That's less than. I think that's even less than 1/10 of a second.
Yeah.
We'll find out in just a moment's time, but no, it is literally separated by less than 2/10 of a second, but 1/100th of a second separates the top 2. That's mental. And then you have to go back to P7 to find the gap where it's split by a second, and then of course 1 minute 13.796 separates pole from P15. Unfortunate for Max not to be able to get a lap time in. The two Haases will start in the back. Sebastian Flores did improve to a 15.0, but still not enough to go any higher than P12. Daniel Bidwell will be a little disappointed about being outside the top 10, but it will give the top or the back 5 a good choice of selection of tyre from there. And Jonathan Dunk in the top 10, he'll be disappointed not to have been outside the 10. And that's probably one of the funniest things. Like, people at home will probably sit there and go, why would you think a driver would be disappointed to be 10th and not 11, be in 10th and not 11th? Well, when you qualify 10th, you have to start on the tyre that you qualify on. If you start 11th, you don't. You get to choose a free set. So if you're in a position where you're P10 on the grid, you'd rather be in 11th.
Yeah, for sure. Daniel will probably be happy that he's 11th as opposed to 10th, but we usually see him in the 5th, 6th, 7th range, so maybe a poor track for him. Maybe he just didn't get good laps in, but yeah, if there's a silver lining in his qualifying effort, it's that he gets a free choice. He can do whatever he wants here, set up the rest of his race.
So let's have a look at our tyre range as we look at the DXT eSports starting grid. So Theodore takes pole position once again, and Jerome Nicholas will be his sparring partner on the front row. So on debut for his first race in Nationals, Michael Schooner takes P3 and goes ahead of race winner of Belgium, Vagela Seoy. Joe Brindley makes it a Renault 135 and Julian makes it a Mercedes 2.6. Matty Smith makes it a Red Bull 1.7 and Jake Anthony, defending Tier 4 champion of Season 5 in P8, the soul of the Williams. The first of the racing points is Liam Towie, Jonathan Dunk in P10. We've just detailed Daniel Bidwell in a very disappointing 11th. Sebastian Flores in the McLaren reserving in P12. Lee Beattie, Cameron Adam and Max Tansley wraps up your top 15. So, in terms of the tyres, Sebastian Flores and Lee Beattie on the softs, the other three are on the mediums.
Yeah, a bit surprised to see two guys outside the top 10 starting on that soft. Like I said, I would have thought they would have went mediums or even hards. But, yeah, I guess they want to attack the beginning of the race. For Sebi, it won't matter as much. He's just trying to learn. Remember, we haven't done this track at regionals. It'll be next week, so he's getting some early practice in.
Yeah, because you guys go to USA for the regionals this weekend. So
yeah, we do. Another corner cut haven.
Don't get me wrong, I actually kind of like Circuit of the Americas. I like it. It's not a track that I've had much good success in, but I've always enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't like the track limits on this game.
No, the track limits on this game have much to be desired. Obviously something Codemasters could fix for next season, even if it meant having slow down penalties, but the grid's lining up. It's a very different kind of grid. We've ever really seen a very different variety of cars on the grid on the front. But anyway, it's ready to go. The lights go red, they'll go out, which will signify the start of the prep up for them. Their red lights will be now going, and from here it's in Mexican, it's underlay, away we go racing. And Theodore's absolutely blitzed them off the line. Jerome slots into second. The two in third and fourth of Schooner and Vangelis are going to go side by side. They're all going to go side by side. Jerome thinks about a move. In fact, he actually fully commits to it. And just going to sift through the field, see if everyone gets through turn one cleanly. It's, well, there's a racing point in the back there. No damage, but he's been carted offline. In fact, everyone's managed to come through without any carbon fibre flying off, which is a genuine first.
Ooh, Iceman and Vagilis are side by side. Vagilis is going to take advantage of him, had the inside line.
Joe Brindley's had an absolute shocker of a start. He's dropped all the way down from P5. P5 down to P9, so he's dropped 3 spots already as they cycle through the, I'd like to think it's probably called the Center S's, but anyway, Theodore leads, Jerome's slotted into second, Vagilis third, Iceman fourth, and then Liam holds down fifth from Loco. God, why am I going PSN land? Jesus.
J-Dunk and Jake have fallen all the way back to 12th and 13th respectively, so 2 bad starts for them.
And Sebastian Flores has also lost 2 places. Jake's actually coming in, so Jake's got damage. Very interesting there, or it's either that or he's getting out of the dirty air, which is not a bad strategy call. No, there's definitely a front wing at the weight. What is he jumping onto? The medium, so obviously committing to the 2-stop. Meanwhile, out front, a half a second gap is what separates the top 2, and obviously separates the top 3 and 4 by just on 2 seconds, and then there's a move going on back here. Joe Brindley and Lee Beattie going side by side into the carousel. It's a pretty interesting place to try and overtake. You kind of have to be certain that the driver alongside you is aware of your presence as they go through the centre S's. And Matty Smith already picks up a 3-second penalty, so you'll start seeing these rock up quite a lot.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of that today. Even for some of the top drivers. The
track limits, I was a bit quite curious with, this is off topic, the Bahrain outer layer. I wonder what the track limits on that would be. It'd be certainly...
if you watch the qualifying session, they were all going way wide on the exit of turn 8. And it was allowed apparently, so...
So it wouldn't be allowed on the game, that's for sure.
No, but for sure not.
So DRS now activated. They won't have it this lap because obviously the DRS activation point is right at the last corner, and there's only one activation point on the main straight. Of course, there is that DRS section coming through the after the S's, which personally I don't actually see the reason why they need to have a DRS zone in such a short burst area. You can't really commit to an overtake. Well, someone's gone. That's Sebastian Flores. Sebi's gone for a Spinella in the carousel. No damage, thankfully, for him, so he'll carry on. Julian Monegro now gets a 3-second penalty. But yeah, as I say, that DRS zone here is just pointless.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever taken advantage of it and made an overtake because of it. I don't know why it's there, other than the fact that they've transitioned a lot of tracks now. You'll see 3 DRS zones, so maybe they just thought they'd keep it as consistent as possible.
So what kind of straight line speed have we got here with the Red Bull and the Mercedes up front? Jerome ranged right up to the back of Theodore, but didn't have enough track space to launch an attack, but he's obviously a lot closer now as he tries to go. Will he make a move up the inside just before the carousel? He thinks about it, but thinks better of it. But
yeah, these 2 up front have both killed their ERS, and Vagelis is sitting 2 seconds back with almost a full battery, so these 2 keep tripping over each other. Vagelis is going to be able to take advantage.
Michael Schooner just starting to break off these 2, so still not too bad, still not too bad of an opening account, and I'm sure he and, as I say that, he gets a 3-second penalty, but I'm sure that he and Dunk are having a conversation about the race at the moment, and I'm sure Dunk's probably a little aggrieved that Schooner in his first race is already running up in the top 5. Did get some subsequent help from his teammate in the qualifying and Joe Brindley to get a bit of a tow. Not that I think the tow was that effective, but must have been enough obviously to put him P3 in qualifying. As we look at the back here, Joe Brindley, his teammate, in fact, right on the back of Lee Beattie with DRS, could get Beattie, may even get Monegro. They're going to go almost 3 wide into turn 1. And Lee just gets on the brakes just that little bit later to try and avoid the overtake committing. Julian goes a bit wide, and
very close.
And Jonathan Dunk's actually now saying, I'll have a bit of this, as Lee commits to the inside again, but I wouldn't say the door was shut there, but Joe didn't give too much of a bat's eye. Apparently these two are quite good mates, so I'm sure that they're not trying their hardest not to pit one another off. Through the center S's, DRS of course is active, so
Julian went way wide there.
In fact, Joe might have a go around the outside. League has a go around the outside of him. They're going to go wide. And Jonathan Dunk gets that move on Lee Beattie. And that's Sebi off again through the last part of the DRS area. So very soon he's going to have...
Julian through the last corner, almost lost it.
In fact, I was about to say very soon he'll have Jake Anthony for company, but now Jake's gone through. But Daniel... Hey, wait, what happened to Budwell?
I don't know, it looks like he's just pit.
Yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, Sebi will be no doubt fully coming in. His tyres will be absolutely torn to shreds now. So yeah.
Dunk. All that work, and now Dunk's back in 10th behind these three guys.
These guys are having a real ripper battle, actually. And now all of a sudden, Jerome is registering as 1 lap behind Theodore in P2.
What?
That obviously there's a glitch in that. I don't know what that really means, but he's still holding down P2 irrespective of whether, unless that means that every driver has now suddenly dropped a lap behind Theodore, which would be absolutely unbelievable. And it would be yet another Codemasters you've done it again moment. I wish I had a big sticker I could slap on the stream. It says Codemasters you've done it again. Monegro is... Yeah, I was going to say, Monegro probably needs to pit. He's struggling to get those softs to stay glued to the circuit. J-Dunk now gets a free run at Lee Beattie, who's allowed Joe Brindley to skip away quite nicely. And Dunk does have the better of the two, or better of the lot in the ERS, so does actually Cameron Adams, so Cameron could be a bit of a wild shot in here as well. Matty Smith's actually had a good run, he's currently sitting P6 now. Here we go. Nothing, so Dunk wasn't able to really get anything out of that, but could be a battle eventually brewing here between Liam and Michael Schooner. God, the penalties have actually racked up quite nicely. So Sebastian stayed out, did he? He did too.
Yeah, I think he's still out there. Yeah, he is. Quite a bit off the leaders by now. I'm sure he'll want some kind of safety car or something to put him back in the race.
Now, Schooner in.
So early stop. Earliest of all the front runners.
And it is a trip to the medium, so it's a definite 2-stop. I would say most likely the top 3 are probably going to push for a 1-stop. Now Jerome's actually saved up quite a bit of ERS in these last couple of laps, so he might be actually in a position here to actually challenge Theodore for the lead. But I'd say these 3 will be on a these 3 will be on the 1-stop. Everyone else, I reckon, will probably shift to the 2-stop.
Yeah, if you're somebody outside of these 3 guys who can't really do anything on pace, to give these guys a run for their money, then you might as well try something differently with the strategy and hope it plays into your hands. I know a lot of people talk about how strong the 2-stop is around here. Just making sure you keep the tires on it throughout the duration pays off so much. So Iceman's should effectively be the first one in line on this strategy, so we'll see what he could do. As Jerome is... Oh no, Theodore's in the pits. And he was on medium, so that's a 2-stop.
Either that or he's going to try and encourage a safety car idea and then drag it out. Now Matty Smith's coming at the exact same time. He's going to get just slightly impeded by it. Not actually too bad. Not... Though, in the theory behind it, you do kind of sit there and you think, well, the teammate prompt is in the pit sort of thing. Oh, and that's Monegro with spin. just on the last couple of corners, so he's dropped a fair bit back now. He's in range of being overtaken by Daniel Budwell, as this battle continues to rage on between Lee Beattie, Joe Brindley and John Dunk. Oh, Jonathan just... Now, as I believe, Jonathan Dunk is actually practicing no assist himself.
Yeah, he is. And it seems like he's running with possibly the traction control down? Maybe medium traction. He's a user who used all the assists a little earlier on this season.
Oh, that's... Who's
so
that?
It seems like he's got... I think that's Tansley. Yep. Tansley went for a spin through the S's.
Oh, you gotta be careful with the rejoin there.
Right in front of Maddie.
And then Maddie's gonna have to... Oh, and... Yeah, he's... Probably should get off the gas, Max. Don't do it. You don't want to be doing anything silly when you've just put yourself on the spot like that. But yeah, now Jerome's in. That's a response. And the overcut has actually worked. The overcut has actually paid off for Jerome Nicholas. They're going to go side by side into turn one, but
just makes his way ahead.
So the overcut had its perks, but Jerome now gets himself a 3-second penalty, and Theodore steals the DRS. Well, actually, technically, yeah. So because of the one activation zone, so Theodore gets the DRS, and that was probably a bit problematic for Theodore as well, because he was right behind these guys trying to stoush for position. So Theodore now on the back of Dunk, who in regional terms is one of the hardest drivers to overtake. Will he get his elbows out here, even though he's not technically racing for position? Well, I mean, he is racing for position, but obviously he's not racing these guys for position. He goes a bit offline, lets Jerome go on, so... Or he gives Jerome a bit of a biff up the butt. And another yellow flag. That's... I think it might have been Tansley having another moment, as Dunk now comes in, as does Brindley and Beattie. So they're going to resume this battle, and it's going to go to the pits. So that could be... This could be an interesting little development, because Beattie's at the end of the lane.
Dunk throwing on the softs.
Oh, and Beattie's gotten ahead of Joe in the pits.
So this battle will surely continue.
And it's going to include Julian Monegro as well. He's now vying his way into this. They're going to go side by side in turn one. Wheel to wheel. Contact. Julian's trying to force the issue. They both go offline. Who got the DRS? Julian will have it. There's a Sector 2 incident, actually. I just missed that. That's a racing point. And I think that might have actually been Liam. Or it might have been just a local yellow and just happened to have Liam going through it. So this race has actually come alive quite well. Jake Anthony, who was at the back of the field, now up to P8, but he's on an alternative strategy. But in saying that, now has poor Sebi gone a lap down? He has too.
Yeah, as soon as he made that pit stop, put him a lap down.
Vigilance is now setting him up with DRS using the slipstream. Sebi just gets straight out of the way. Cameron Adams and Michael Schooner engrossed in a bit of battle. Cameron breaks a little later into turn one, but then Schooner uses those fresher tyres and absolutely mugs them out of the corner. This is a good race, actually. This is quite an exciting race so far.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen our two leaders nose to tail pretty much for this duration, the whole 12 laps so far. Jerome unfortunately picked up a penalty quite early on. The Theodore knows right now all he's got to do is cover off the guy right behind him, not get any penalties, and he's got that 3-second advantage. Vagilis, I'm actually surprised that he's not keeping up with these two in front. We've seen a lot of strong pace from him. A few races this season, but yeah, he's just that little bit off to where he Just a couple tenths every lap. He falls off and watches the guys in front just slowly drift away as Jerome's now showing a lap down again. As Jerome's going to make a move.
He gets it done. So, change for the lead. There's another yellow flag in Sector 3, but still not showing. It's just being a bit glitchy now. So, Jerome now takes the lead of the race, but he has a 3-second penalty looming over his head. And it looks like that yellow sector is just going to stay put there. Almost. I would almost say
yellow and nobody was through there.
No, I'm thinking it might be glitched now, so I'd say, I don't know if that's going to show up on the race, but obviously if it does, it would mean there would be no overtaking in that particular zone, and that's pretty bad given it's a DRS zone. Oh, Jerome picks up another one, so that's 6 seconds. Theodore's actually been quite clean today.
I mean, he knows what he's got to do, especially now. An extra 6 seconds that Jerome's got to make up. I don't see him being that much quicker than Theodore. And obviously Theodore could see exactly where he stands on penalties with the new addition of the little penalty markers and on your leaderboard. So,
although just saying that, he could pretty much set himself up here to get the lead back. Oh, that was probably a little bit aggressive there from Jerome in the terms of defence, but Theodore just says, shove me off the track all you want, I'll just still have this, so gets back through. But this is a bit of a domino effect now, so this will be quite concerning for the two. Now, did that just happen? Is that lag, or did that just happen? That just happened. Yep, that just happened. Okay.
What?
Okay, that is the I'm sorry, but that is the weirdest incident I've ever seen.
What was that?
From what I could make, it looks like Jerome's just
Oh, I think one popped up for Iceman as well.
Let's have a look.
Iceman's got to drive through. As well as Tansley.
So what I could see is that, well, so Theodore's not in any wrong from what I could tell, because there's no movement from the Red Bull.
Yeah, did Jerome just cross himself up?
Yeah, I think I think he might have been looking to go for a move, and then just swung out too quickly, and caused something like that. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have a check and see what. My leaderboard times are from before.
I think that was him answering a question from Theodore.
Not now. And Sebastian Flores has retired in the pits. Obviously, he's felt like he's done enough for the race, so Sector 3 yellow. Also, that was me lagging. Was that me lagging, mate? Or you, mate, just asking? So, I think... Jerome, if you're listening, I'm pretty sure it was you.
Oh, Tansley's crashed.
Yeah, he is too. His race wasn't going quite nicely for him as it was, so I think for him that's just the saving the coup de grace, and Sebi's car's rolling now onto the circuit. Hopefully it's not gonna cause any immediate issues. So unfortunately with Michael Schooner's demise, Jerome's demise initially was going to put Michael Schooner on the podium, but his drive-through denies now put Liam currently on course for his career first podium. Cameron Adam also on the verge of could be a career first podium, but he has to pit, so he's doing that now. That'll put Matty Smith up to P4, and that will equal his best result of this season. Of course, he got a second place in Canada on the final race of season 6. Who's that? That's Dunk making a move on Jake Anthony for position 5. Dunk on the softs.
Yep. And Jake on 13 lap old mediums. So, he just gets another penalty. So I wonder what he's going to do in terms of tire strategy after this stint. I mean, I guess he's going to try to stretch to another set of mediums.
Well, he started on the soft, so he went to the mediums on lap 1, obviously with the tyre, his front wing braking, his Dunk gets another penalty. So currently on the terms of penalties, it's Maddie with 3, Dunk, Anthony and Lee with 6, Iceman with 3, Julian Monegro with 12, and Cameron Adam with 6. Yeah, so Anthony came in lap 1 for mediums. I'm not sure, actually, how many laps did Cameron Adams do? He just pit, so 16 laps. So Anthony will be in roughly about 3 more laps, which will put him on lap 20. So 16, yeah, nah, he'll be fine. So this battle now, that was originally Lee Beattie, J Dunk and Joe Brindley, is now Lee Beattie, Joe Brindley and Iceman. So you've taken one CRL driver out of the mix and added another one.
Added another one.
And also in saying that, you've got Anthony in that fray as well, so he'll end up in this battle. But yeah, this Lee Beattie will be just not enjoying seeing that Renault behind him, but now he'll hate the idea that there's a second Renault right up behind him.
And I think Iceman's going to be quite aggressive here, trying to overcome that drive-through. He looked so good in the early stages, so I think getting these moves done quickly will potentially save his race.
And where does he do it though? Because his teammates no slouch when it comes to racing defence.
Try right here.
Brindley's got DRS as well. They're going to go side by side. Oh, Brindley. Yeah, that was probably a bit of an expectancy on Brindley's side because he had to take the corner. Schooner probably was a bit unwise to try and contest that completely around the outside, but he'll have a better shot at it here. Although, what's the DRS like? Yeah, they're kind of almost equal pegging, but Schooner does have slightly more. But they've all hit dead weight. Although Brindley's going to go for the move anyway on Lee and kind of just muscles his way through. And that's going to give Lee a bad run, so Schooner, I'm going to hold my breath here for a second because this usually has the recipe of getting ugly. Oh, there's contact there. Oh, and Schooner had nowhere to go. And around the outside of the carousel, you don't get that done too often, and that's 2 penalties for Monegro in the space of a few corners. He's gonna.
I think he might be in disqualification range. He's already sitting at 18 at about halfway through, so.
Well, I think when I had a drive-through too, actually, technically, so I had 19 seconds in a drive-through in that classic race, the first one, when I got disqualified, so usually the penalty number racks up to about 20 odd seconds before you get disqualified, but then it's like if you get drive-throughs 10 seconds or 5 seconds, that's when you get into the disqualification territory. Now, Jonathan Dunk right up on the back of Matty Smith, and we've got Lee Beattie and Daniel Woodwell in, so what's this going to be? That's a front wing change, so there was damage. I did think there was some initial damage from the contact between him and Joe Brindley, and there's also wing damage for Budwell. He's been kind of by himself, so I wonder where that's come from.
He's just not had a good day so far.
Whereas Theodore's just had a race in heaven at this point. 5 seconds the gap between him and Vagelis. In fact, the top 3 have done an outstanding job to go currently 19 laps so far without a penalty. Now, let's have a look at the race director and see if they actually have any warnings at the moment. Liam does have one. I've just seen he already got one on lap 1. Vagelis got one on lap 2. Liam's on 2 warnings, so he's in the danger zone of getting one. Theodore has 1. Vagelis has 2, so he's in the danger zone as well. And Theodore has 2 as well. So they're all on the threshold of getting their first penalties. if one mistake happens, but they've been pretty much driving their own races to a conservative number, which I guess is where the gaps sort of tell you that. But yeah,
there's kind of less pressure on the top three. Even if they do get one penalty, it's not going to hurt them too much. Especially Vagilis. 14 seconds to Liam. Dunk's made it around Maddie.
And there's another penalty for Iceman, who has been given a special shout out from Suzanne Pluto. So, hello Suzanne, and good to see you're representing your friend, partner, sister, brother, I don't know. Whatever it is, you're still showing your support. It's good to see, as actually he's still stuck behind his teammate, but obviously they're not too bothered about the race in general. Although, ooh, yellow flag, there's nothing there really, unless Lee Beattie made a mistake, or Cameron Adam, whichever one it was. But here we go, Schooner on Brinley. Around the outside at turn 1, Joe will probably try and brake later to ensure that they go side by side, but no, it's done. And probably a good move there from Joe not to contest it, just because, oh, as I say that,
I don't know, it's not over yet.
I mean, given the state of play with the penalties, Joe's got 3, Michael's got 9, so it's better for Joe to just let him go and keep him within. Although saying that, Michael makes a mistake and actually surrenders the spot back, which Michael won't be too pleased about, because obviously he wants to try and get ahead of Joe and then build up a 6-second gap, but he's not going to be able to do that while Theodore's in again. Oh yeah, no, sorry, two stop. I was going to say, what the hell is Theodore throwing his race away again? But no, that's his first off, second stop, and Dunk is coming in too. So that kind of
have to put on medium.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy point, because you start on the because he started on the soft, so he's gone soft, medium. Which in contrast, as this battle continues still with the 2 Renaults, and I think because no, Joe was ahead. Okay, so at some stage Michael must have got past Joe, because suddenly Joe got DRS.
Michael just can't get his way around and just make it stick.
Yeah,
every time he makes the move,
it's the DRS train. Yeah, it's the DRS train. So once you get caught in this DRS train, as Theodore's actually already overtaken Liam through all this. Now I'd say Liam will probably I was going to say Liam would follow, but Liam has actually still got pretty decent tyres on in terms of duration. Matty Smith's actually, oh, yellow flag. That's an actual one this time. That's Lee Beattie. He's gone around just out of the S's. No, sorry, no, that wasn't Lee Beattie. That was Cameron Adam. Jonathan Dunk. So Iceman's coming in. So he's now decided to get him on the undercut.
He's gonna try to, at least.
Yeah, I've actually found that I think Mexico is actually an overcut circuit, not an undercut circuit.
And I don't. We kind of saw it with Jerome and Theodore. Yeah, Theodore picks up his first penalty. So that'll put him under a little bit of pressure from Vagilis.
And that's the point too. So the gap between Vagilis and Theodore was about 6 seconds. So there was a bit of an overcut, but not obviously
it's
not.
Be about that.
wouldn't think that Liam's trying to do... I suppose Liam's probably trying to push his tyres to do the last stint on the softs. Now, Brindley hasn't reacted to Schooner yet. But this battle for what will be fourth will be quite interesting between Jonathan Dunk and Matty Smith.
Julian now. And Lee's kind of just slowly falling down the order throughout this race.
Yeah.
Julian does go around him.
Although...
yeah, but Lee's got about 12 seconds, so...
So that's a 6-second gap that Julian needs to pull. Although, like I say, although Julian's just done the fastest first sector of the race... could be
and Jake is slowly creeping his way back up.
Yeah, given he was at the back of the field on the first lap after a wing change, he's gotten himself back up to P7 and he started 11th. No. Where did he start? Actually, hang on, we can check that by looking at the... he started in 6th, so 8th. 8th. So he's made, well, he's now made 2 spots from the start. So biggest movers and shakers: Liam up 6, Jonathan Dunk up 6. Biggest losers: Michael Schooner down 5, Joe Brindley down 3. That's now moved to 4 for Schooner, as I think Beattie's pit.
Yeah, but he's put on the soft, so Schooner has moved up with the undercut, but now Brindley's going to be able to, you would think he'd be able to haul him in, being on the soft tire.
Most likely, and Matty Smith has come out behind Anthony, but the differences in the tyre, I would think, would have some positional play. And what's on the term of penalties for these two? 3 seconds for Matty, 6 for Anthony. So if Matty can stay within 3 seconds, he's pretty much guaranteed P5. And Jonathan Dunk's had a good run. If a safety car came out right now, he would be looking almost quite pretty. But actually, in saying that, oh, Julian, 21 seconds. So where is Liam and Dunk going to come out versus one another? Dunk's actually going to get him.
Wow.
But only just. And Liam doesn't have penalties and is on the faster tyre. Yellow flag, sector, that's Budwell, that's his teammate around. Oh, that's a lot further into that corner than I would think would be necessary for a spin. Wing damage? No, gotten away with it.
He played soft.
Probably just a lose in the rear. And Liam's already wasted no time.
He's already pulled a second.
Yeah, I just wonder if the overtake might not have been necessarily fully clean. Because if you make a move like that and then you're suddenly a second ahead already, one would think there's probably a bit of contact in play. But yeah, Jake Anthony.
It must have been because, yeah, Dunk had about 3 seconds to Jake, and now that's been cut to about a second and a half, 1.3 seconds. So.
And on the penalty scale, there's 3 seconds difference between. Well, essentially, Matty Smith could jump to 4th if he can stay within 6 seconds of them both.
And he's on the freshest tire out of the 3 of them.
Yeah, I think pace differential it still outweighs that a little bit, but let's see. So Joe Brindley came out on the soft, did get overtaken by Schooner, but obviously the difference in tyres is going to play a huge part in this, and I think that's probably a little bit of what Joe Brindley was planning. He knew he's probably going to get undercut, so it was better for him to stay out a few laps longer, get on the softs. Although, what's that? 10 laps on the softs. I don't actually know how long the softs usually go.
They'll do about 10, 11 laps. I don't think. Pretty sure all these guys will be relatively fine to make it.
So Liam now 20 seconds off the back of Vangelis, who is 8.5 seconds off the back of Theodore, although you could chop that down to 5 based on the penalty for Theodore. Still interesting to see though that there's still 2 drivers in the no penalty club at the moment. So Liam and Vangelis have done an outstanding job to sit on 2 warnings for 28 laps. I know I'm probably going to put the mocker on at least one of them by saying that. But obviously if it was Stuart Leslie, he would have put the mocker on them both.
I think Stuart's cursed just about every driver he commentates over at one point.
Well, put it this way. So obviously, like we said on the after party of the commentary for the US division, Stuart was willing you to get a penalty on the last lap because you were.
And I watched it back and I let him know that I was not happy about it.
Honestly, I mean, me and Seb were just trying to shut him up the whole time.
I did like that bit.
But the whole perspective of it, I don't think there is really such a thing as commentator's curse. I just think, honestly, for us, it's just that we happen to talk about them just literally as they're about to have a moment. But, like, this battle between Jonathan Duncan, Anthony's actually heating up quite nicely, even though the tyre difference is in Dung's favour. Anthony is closing in that gap to DRS range, and Matty Smith has actually been left behind. So he's now out of range to beat Anthony on penalties, but still within range of beating Dunk on penalties as well. And this battle with Shuna and...
Yeah, I was just going to say the Renaults are back together and they're going to have a little battle here.
It's been a good race in terms of keeping, like, obviously you do have a massive gap between the leaders and the top 3, but we haven't had a moment of time really in this race where we've kind of sat around going, oh, what can we talk about, or what's going on. So that's good in that retrospect.
Yeah, we've had some solid battles in the midfield. I mean, you had the battle with Joe, Lee, Dunk. I think Jake was in there at some point, or maybe Matty. But 4 guys just going for it for a few laps, and they couldn't get it figured out, so they just kept fighting.
Izzy Cream just gave a message, the steward of the the European division. Surprised I haven't mentioned the awards yet. Obviously, because we already know we're the top commentating duo. Screw Dan and Alex. They may have the banter, but we have the knowledge.
You sure about that?
Well, at least I know every driver's names. But anyway, we have seen quite a few interesting candidates for a few of the options we have. Obviously, we've had the teacher's pet, which I actually haven't kept in touch with, but there are actually getting a few null votes, so nobody really... I don't think actually anyone really understands what that means as Sebi leaves the session. He's actually I would have thought he would have jumped on Warzone by now. But yeah, so to make an understanding for anyone who's watching, a teacher's pet basically is anyone who would come to me saying anything like snitching or offering something, or saying, oh, you do such a great job, you're a great boss, etc, etc. Basically, in technical terms, a teacher's pet is an ass kisser. And then the class clown one's quite interesting because apparently I'm leading the vote on that one. Currently, on the terms of the commentators solo, I'm currently landsliding that one. But yeah, unfortunately, we are 2 points behind in the vote for the duo behind Dan and Alex.
Yeah, all those DXT guys voting for him.
Exactly. The most embarrassing moment currently at the moment is going in way of Thierry's crash at Vietnam on the last corner. And yeah, there's quite a few. Obviously, there's a couple that I won't go into detail with, which is Driver of the Season and the inductee to the Transnation Esports Hall of Fame. But yeah, obviously the end of that will be the conclusion of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and the award ceremony will take place probably on the Saturday after, which would actually be Boxing Day, Christmas Day for Europe. So I actually do have the Monday off, so I could do it on the Monday too, actually, depending on who's available at the time and all that kind of thing. Because I don't know if it happens with you in America, but in New Zealand we have a thing called a Mondayized holiday system. So if Christmas and Boxing Day and all that fall onto a weekend, then someone gets a day off. Actually, while we've been talking, Maddie Smith has actually fallen into the clutches of the two Renaults. As Shuna goes around the outside of Maddie and gets that job done, that will be a relief for him. As Brindley just shot the nose in, and that's actually hurt his exit. But yeah, so to that question, Mike, do you have a Mondayized holiday system?
Not really. Our holidays are weird.
So if Christmas fell on a Saturday, you wouldn't have the Monday off in exchange?
No. No, I mean, I guess it would depend on where you work. I don't personally, but yeah, I wish I had a job like that.
It's a New Zealand, it's a governmental thing, so it just happens all around New Zealand. Apart from essential workers like supermarkets and all that, they still have to open, etc.
Yeah, I don't even have off of work on Christmas Eve. I work Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. I only have the actual national holidays off, so.
According to Chris Murphy, RP Amazing, he says no as well, so he's American as well. And speaking of that, with the award ceremony, I'm guessing the American server will be getting their one underway very shortly.
Yeah, and I'm excited because we got a lot of good candidates for all the categories. Hopefully I win a couple awards for my efforts this season.
Certainly would get one for the most. If there was a category for which Brace gave the commentators a big heart attack, I'd say definitely you would win that one.
Yeah, I try to keep it interesting. If I can't be fast enough, I'll just make it as interesting as I can.
Also, on top of that, I did talk about it yesterday before getting cut off stream because of my crappy internet at the moment. Transnation Esports is looking into moving into operating with merchandise. Obviously, we're in the design stages of the shirts and other objects that we might put into it, maybe backpacks, cups, accessories. PS4 skins, probably not. That's probably way too expensive. Proceeds will be going towards strengthening the servers all around for all of Transnation Esports related systems. We will hopefully have them up for sale sometime at the start of next year. Right now we're just in the kind of the discussion phase, trying to figure out what website we use and what kind of sweet deals we can get out of them. Michael has a bit more info on that if he wants to shit on that.
Yeah, we've actually gotten some contribution and some help from other leagues that we are quite close with and we work with and collaborate with from time to time, and they themselves have merchandise, and we've taken a lot of their considerations into account. we're right now sifting through them, trying to figure out which one we're gonna go with. But yeah, DXT guys, shout out to them. They helped us out a little bit, gave us what they use in their options, and then yeah, the CRL guys. I'm sure not many of the national server people will know much about them, but the regional guys know exactly who they are. They told us where they get all their stuff done from, and I think quite promising and good products. So we just got to figure out, yeah, exactly how it's going to work, and it should be coming out as soon as possible.
Yeah, while all that had happened with all the discussions and all that, I was just having a look at all the penalties. So Theodore still sits at a 3, Vagilis and Liam still sitting on nothing. 2 warnings for 36 laps is something short of a miracle, especially around here. Anthony has gotten overtaken J-Dunk through all this. He's on 9. J-Dunk's on 12. Iceman's on 12. Joe Brindley's on 6. Matty Smith's on 6. Julian Monegro's on 24. Daniel Budwell's on 3. Lee Beatty's on 24. And Cameron Adams is on 21. So, either which way, it's pretty much a done and dusted situation. So the race results as Brindley actually now finally gets Iceman on the straight, but for Theodore Dragishi, the fanfare flies, the confetti starts to fly around. It's been a dominant performance, not entirely from the start, but once Jerome was out of the race, it was pretty much Theodore's race to win, as he makes it 3 on the trot in no assist nationals, and pretty much with Jake Anthony in P4, I would actually be inclined to say that Theodore Dragishi may have just wrapped up the season 6.5 title. I'll have a quick look on that one.
Do the calculations.
Just go to the... Where are we? Where's the announcements? Up here. The gap between first and fourth is, and I do believe that would have been with fastest lap 2 on Theodore's end too, wouldn't it?
Yes.
So 43 points as opposed to fourth, which is 26. So 43 minus 26 is 17. The gap was...
It'll be 86 points exactly.
So Theodore Dragishi is your season 6.5 champion.
Yeah, I mean, definitely deserving.
As Jonathan Dunk gets driver of the day, which is also rightfully deserving, given his P10 start.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see how this championship would have played out. With Piers still here, but yeah, as soon as Piers made the switch to no assist, Theodore's kind of hit the ground running, and we've seen him just show what he's capable of. And I mean, what can we say? Another pretty much perfect race today.
And a career first podium also for Liam Towie. So a great result for him, and Vagilis takes another seat on the podium, which will help him in his bid against a lot of the other drivers around him. So Theodore pretty much unassailable unless he DNFs the next races, and unless he DNFs the 2 races that he win races, and Anthony wins both races with the fastest lap. And then even then, Theodore would still win by having more race wins and more poles. Once I get to the bloody party screen. Comment there from Izzy Cream, if we're doing merch we need to do hoodies. I couldn't agree more. It's not that warm. It's not that cold here, so I'm alright. Right, who are we grabbing? We're grabbing Theodore, Vagilis, and Mr. Liam. Although I think Liam may have been on the podium once before, actually. It's hard to remember, but either which way, it's the first of this season, at least. So we'll just wait for them to turn up. Great race today, very interesting in the thing. And here he is here, Theodore Dragishi. You're not only our race winner, you are the Season 6.5 World Champion. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you very much. It's been a hell of a ride.
So talk us through the race. You had obviously a really good battle there with Jerome Nicholas. Then a bit of something interesting happened which saw him crash out of the race. Just talk us through that, and then pretty much from there, holding on to 2 warnings for at least half of the race and then getting your penalty, but obviously you were never in doubt. It was a very dominant race from you today. So just talk us through it.
Yeah, well, regarding qualifying, it felt really satisfying to get that pole position because I was 2.5 tenths down on the first sector in my final run, and then I somehow managed to snatch pole away from Jerome, who was very good. And yeah, during the race, it was really, really nice to have some battles with him. I mean, the one battle that I had with him. But yeah, I overtook him, and then I was looking behind me in like with the camera, and then he just it looked like he lagged out because you know when he lags out, it looks like he's crashing, but he's not actually crashing. But that one time he actually did. I didn't feel any contact. I didn't get any warning, so I didn't really see what happened. It was really unfortunate because we were having a really good battle, and I'm 100% sure it would have gone on until the end. After that, it was a lonely race. I was thinking about going to the softs for the end, but I had a very, very aggressive setup, and I couldn't wait on that first stint of mediums. I had to change right away because it wasn't feeling good, and I still kept the fastest lap, so that's actually what mattered.
Yeah, and that fastest lap pretty much has determined your championship. You would have been leaving this weekend needing only a point to secure it at Brazil. So by getting your fastest lap today, you've taken exactly what you needed to win the championship today. So you'll be able to go into Brazil and Abu Dhabi without any worries about the last 2 races. So congratulations nonetheless, and we will see you the Brazilian Grand Prix. Moving on to position 3, doesn't look like we're going to have Vagelis again. So Liam, congratulations. Korea first podium, I believe, in Tier 1?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So congratulations on that. Very strong race for you. You had some pretty good battles among the races as well, and then pretty much once you hit P3, it was pretty much uncontested for the whole duration. So how does that one feel?
I feel like I've kind of looked into it because there was a Renault in front of me that had to go through a drive-through, and there was the Mercedes that crashed out. I don't know how they crashed out, but I just take the position. But yeah, I didn't have any really battles during the race. I started 9th, and then after start got up to like 5th, I think it was. And then after that, I just tried my best not to get a penalty, so I saw everyone else behind me was getting like 3 seconds, 6 seconds, 9 seconds, and I saw someone on like 21 seconds or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, I just tried my best not to get a penalty the whole race.
And that was the thing too, because we had a look through the race director obviously to see. I can't remember what lap it was, Michael, but obviously when we saw it, the 3 of you were all on 2 warnings. So obviously Theodore couldn't keep it together, but you guys to hold 36 laps on 2 warnings, that's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like this track. It's one of my favourite tracks, so I didn't have to practice that much for it. But yeah, I was just desperately trying not to get a penalty in like the second sector, or SSR, I think it was. Yeah, the entire race was tough.
Well, nonetheless, it's a great result for you, and certainly I hope that more would come. Michael, do you have anything to say to our champion and 3rd place runner?
Yeah, for Liam, I guess I'll ask, when you do basically a whole race where you're on 2 warnings, you can't pick up another one, is there any conservative aspects there? Do you back down the pace a little bit just to not pick up that last warning, or do you just go flat out and kind of cross your fingers and hope you don't get one of those cheesy warnings that we all kind of come to know and love.
Yeah, in the S's, I was going a lot slower than I could have gone. Just trying not get a penalty in the first sector as well. I was trying my best not to get a penalty whatsoever. Because in a career mode race I got loads of penalties, so I was just trying my best not to. Really, all race.
I mean, I don't even know if there's much I could say to the winner and the champion, other than congrats. I mean, definitely no small feat. You've impressed pretty much every week, just consistently showing what you're capable of. So congrats. Hope we see more of it going forward.
Thank you, and good luck to you as well.
Oh, thank you.
Actually, in that ideal, with the championship sort of wrapped up and sort of everything coming in play, do you think you'll end up doing a Piers Langford and move to no assist for next season?
Well, yeah, I might. Actually, the only assist that I use, quite surprisingly, is
Automatic
gears.
gears. Yep.
Oh, we talked about that too.
Yeah, I know it's quite unnatural for that being the only assist I use, but I've always struggled to do everything because I'm on the pad and managing fuel and obviously managing gears is a lot easier this year than it was last year. But still, I've never managed to get a good lap. I mean, set the same times as on auto gears, but I guess that's just one of those things that you have to practice over and over. And yeah, why not? I might try. I might give it a try.
Fair enough. So,
am I? Sorry for interrupting you. Am I allowed, for example, to try a race next week with no assist?
yeah, of course. Most certainly.
Okay.
So, also we got a comment from Alice, who I believe is your wife.
Yeah, she's my sister.
Sister. Okay. Ooh. Sorry, Alice. So she expresses her congratulations as well for your championship success. So, congratulations, Liam, on your career first podium. Hopefully we'll see more. Michael, you got anything before we wrap it up?
No.
Alright, well, we technically leave our positions in the commentary box for this race of the Transnation Esports Assist Division for round 8 of the championship, but of course we ourselves have our races coming up in the No Assist Division 2 and Division 1. So good luck to you, Michael, on that one. We're about to get ready on that in half an hour's time. Next week, we go to the Brazilian Grand Prix circuit for the penultimate round of Season 6.5. There's only 2 races left to go, ladies and gentlemen. And we've already got our champion decided here, but there's still plenty of championships to be decided. Tier 2, Tier 3, No Assist Tier 1, and No Assist Tier 2. Can anyone beat Andrew Lee in today's race? You'll find out in half an hour with commentators of Stuart Leslie and Michael Poland. For now, Brett Keenan and Michael Groan Jr. signing out from Mexico, and we'll see you next week at Brazil. Thanks for watching.